Hello, 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 my crafty friends. Happy Sunday. How are we doing? Fun little story for all the replayers. This is my second time going live. I don't know what's happening. I'm having quite a few tech glitches, which I am going to investigate. So hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday, my friends. Hope you all are having an amazing Sunday. I have been to church and we've had lunch, put the babies down for a nap. And I was like, this is the perfect time to just pop in, chat with you guys around a topic that I love to talk about. You guys know I love helping you understand how to sell your crafts, how to understand what you're doing, and help you really understand how to, shift so you get new results in your business. You may get results that you've never had before, and so much. So today we're breaking down the 5 problems that is holding you back from selling your crafts and the things you really, really, really will want to overcome. And we're going to talk about why we do this and how to fix it. And it is so, so good. So yay, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm going back old school. This is just my webcam and my built-in microphone. We've set the fancy audio to the side for today, and we're just taking it old school. Isn't that the best? Sometimes just going old school is like the best. So super, super fun. As you guys tune in, share with me where you're visiting from. Let me know what you've got going on. I do, before I jump in, just want to invite you. I have a brand new workshop. It is happening this next Sunday, a week from today at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. We have a Sunday, a Monday, and a Tuesday. That is how serious I am about this new workshop. It is so practical. It's so good. All you need to do, first link down below, pinned link right here, and get registered. That's all you have to do. It's free. You just put your name in. After you sign up, there will be a $7 trial offer for my program. If you want to take that, take it. Don't feel obligated to take it. But my new workshop series is going to be incredible. I can't wait for you guys to be there. It's been the first time in a couple of years that I have built a whole new training from scratch. All right. So it's very, very, very on the cusp of where we're at. What I really want you to understand that we're teaching is how to market and grow your Cricut business in a shrinking economy. Okay. I had specifically had a student come to me on a call. It was like, Tanner, tell me how to overcome this, shrinking economy. And it just started like showing me so many things. I started talking to others. They're like, wait, can I grow a business in a shrinking economy? Like, if the economy's bad, can I sell? Is there opportunity for me? We're going over all of it, all of it. And all you need to do is get signed up. All right. So super, super fun. Cannot wait. And I hope you're excited to dive in. These are the 5 problems that I see people making when they're not, that's keeping them from selling their crafts. All right. So we're just going to go over these and kind of have a conversation about why we do this so that we can decide not to. All right. It can be that simple. It can be that simple of us just deciding we're not going to do that. All right. Who's ready to dive in? It's going to be so good. Love it, love it, love it. Cannot wait. I hope a lot of you are getting signed up. The link is right there for the workshop too. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive in. I do not want to waste anyone's time today. I just want to show up, serve, and give you all the value that I possibly can. So here is what I want to let you know. While I'm teaching and going over these, if you have a question, if you want to share your personal, story and get some coaching, or anything like that, any advice from me, put it in the comments as we go through the 5. I'll take pauses, check comments. If you're watching the replay, I read the comments, so leave me a comment. All right, let's dive in. Number 1, this is one of the biggest problems I see people stopping them from selling their crafts. Are y'all ready? Number 1 is you're waiting for others to give you permission. All right, I'm going to say that one again. You're waiting for others to give you permission to sell your crafts. And I put this here because I always wonder, where did 10, 11-year-old Tanner get really excited and feel so confident about selling his crafts? And I was wondering, and this whole thought, I'm bringing y'all closer to me. This whole thought came from me looking back at 11-year-old Tanner and asking myself, like, how was I confident? How did I do this? And why did I do it? And the one thing I didn't wait for was for someone to tell me to do it. I did not wait for someone to tell me to do it or say I should do it or any of that. All right. It is so important that we decide for ourselves. All right. I love this thought of I do it because I want to. I sell because I want to, right? I think most of us are waiting, and a lot of my clients are waiting for outside validation to come. And when it never comes, or it doesn't come the way they thought it would, hear what I'm saying? When it doesn't come the way you thought it would, then you're using that as evidence to why you shouldn't sell. All right. You're using the evidence that you haven't got the validation that you want to come. You're using that as evidence as like, yeah, I'm not good enough to sell. No one's told me to yet. No one's told me I should sell. I'm not going to sell anything because no one's told me. So our brain uses that as evidence, my friend. And what I want to offer is that you should sell for one reason, and it should be because you want to. There are so many things, and just to wrap this up, there are so many things people want me to do that I won't do. There's also so many things that people want me to do, I would love to, but I don't do it, right? You really, really, really have to be so bought in on what you're doing and how you do it and why you do it. Just because other people are out there, and this is better or worse, there are so many really awesome things people want us to do. And there's things that I don't think are so awesome, but people would love for me to do it. And I don't do any of it. I only do the things that I want to do to serve my ultimate goal of my business, both personally, professionally, spiritually. Like, you could just add in so many different things here. So I think the number one thing people are on the sidelines from selling their crafts is that you're just waiting for someone to say you should. You're waiting for someone to ask you to buy. And my friends, I just want to offer that if you've only been making and crafts for 2 months, 3 months, chances are you have learned just as much as someone that's had a Cricut a year or two. All right. So if you're waiting for a timeline, you're waiting for something to happen, what I want you to understand is that you can sell. And if you just got a Cricut last month, right? Because how I teach is you sell what you're best at. So of course I wouldn't tell you, someone as a beginner, to build the sign, like to my quality standard and sell it if you've never done it before. What you would do would be make something that you're really good at, stickers, shirts, anything like that. All right. So that's number one. Number one is you're waiting for others to give permission. And that looks like so many different things. And I think the more that we use this permission as evidence to why you shouldn't, it's just keeping you in this place of, just beating yourself up. All right. So if you're here and if you're listening this far in, chances are there's a hair somewhere that's like, what if? What if I sold my crafts? What if I believed in myself? What if? So I want to start focusing in on that of like, what if? What is possible for you? I truly believe that none of us know what's truly possible for us. And the way I can sit here with such conviction and say that is because I didn't know what would be so popular or so worth it for me. I had no idea what was possible for me in 2011 when I started my Etsy shop and I called it Easta. All right. Like, that is just a stop in my journey. And you just have to, continue the journey to find out, which is so cool. So I love it, love it, love it. Tara says, the more you want to sell, the more you show up in your product sales. Yes, I truly believe that. I love it. No one says anything to me and I'm still not selling. Right. Like sometimes that is keeping us from selling because we think someone has to tell us that. No, you can just sell because you want to. It's good enough. I love that. Okay. Number two, this one is where many of you are. And I really want to talk to this one because I meet a lot of people that tell me, I met someone this morning actually, that tell me like, oh, they tried Etsy and it didn't work for them, right? Here's number two. Number two is you list something. You could do multiple listings or you could do one listing. Let's say you list one thing, and if it doesn't work, you stop. All right. I meet many of my clients tell me that. Oh, Tanner, I tried Etsy. It didn't work for me. Or, oh, I tried selling my crafts. It didn't work for me. What I want to tell you, my friend, what I really want to tell you is that notice how that sounds. I listed one thing. It didn't work. Etsy's not for me. Or, oh, I tried selling my crafts on Facebook one time. It didn't work for me. So like, I can't sell my crafts. If I stopped the first time that something didn't work for me, I would not be here today. I really want you to sit with that, because the first place I would go if we were, in a coaching environment would be, what does not work look like, right? And what it boils down to is that typically we expect to put this amount of effort in and get this amount of reward, right? So if I make a listing, I expect that within a week, at least 2 orders should come in, and it should be like even, all right? What I want to offer is that what if the work that you just did was only the base? That time is just the base. So it's like down here at the bottom. And now you have to continually show up, like to get up here, you show up to the 2 orders, right? When you're putting work into your business, you're not going to reap the full reward for a while. You're not just going to put X amount of effort in and get X amount of sales just because you made a listing. All right. So what I want to offer, if you're here and you're like, Tanner, I've tried Etsy, I've tried Facebook, I've tried local, I've tried all of this, and you're not getting the success you want, I want to offer that you haven't showed up consistently enough. And I just want to encourage you to stick with it longer. Figure out things more, educate yourself more, and continue showing up, right? Because as soon as you say, it's not for me, it doesn't work, and that all is going to create the result of it's not working. Okay, so you really, really need to understand that instead of this being it didn't work, it's just your expectation was unbalanced. I would call it an imbalance. You would have an expectation imbalance of the amount of effort it takes to get your first sale. What I would tell you is that your first sale, okay, let's listen, this is good. Your first sale could take 3 to 5 times the amount of effort that you think it would right now. All right. What if it took double the effort or triple the effort for you to get your first sale? Most of us would be like, thank you. I can now go put in double, triple the effort and I will get my first sale. But many of us just stop as soon as our expectations are not met. I put in X and I should get X back, right? Very tricky thoughts come in here of like, oh, it doesn't work for me. Oh, it could work for you, but it can't work for me. So I really want you to start playing around with, if you've listed one thing and it didn't work, why didn't it work? Like start looking at successful stores and be like, oh, well, they do this, or I could do this, different things. So Elena says, so you're saying show up with a new listing every week. So Elena, not exactly. That could be an option, but it's not the only option we have. What I'm suggesting is that maybe it takes more time working that listing, like really making sure you're listing the right item. Honestly, most of the people who aren't getting Etsy sales to the level they want is they're selling things people aren't looking for. Okay, I'll say that again. Some of us are selling things that people just aren't looking for. So the first thing I would say is to find out what products people want and make those. That's before you list anything, right? Make sure what you can make best is something that people actually want. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And I think that's where a lot of this gets blurred, right? It's like, oh, I'm only going to make things I really, really want to make, and I should just expect it to sell. There is strategy here that you can do before you even start making the project to see if it will sell, to see if there is demand. My thought here would be, why would we list something that we have no idea would work every week instead of just looking on the front end? So inside my program, we teach how to find products that work, how to find products that are in demand and things like that. So it's just really, getting consistent on figuring out your expectation. All right. Emily says it's hard to find that fine line of being unique, but also selling what everyone wants. Yes. And here's the thing. If we're talking about making the most money, you probably just want to make things that are very normal, like very average. Creatives like us don't want to hear that, and we don't want to know that. Like, we want to think the more creative we get, the more exclusive we are, the more money we should make. It's not always true. The more unique means you're looking for people that relate to more unique things. So that's just something to consider if we're trying to optimize for the most profit, which we don't always have to do that. I usually do two to three the same items. At the beginning, I used to make several of the same items thinking I would sell, and sometimes no one bought even one. I teach in my program to make one and then get an order and then make theirs. Okay. So I don't believe in like batching like 10 to 20 items and just have it waiting, because that, again, a lot of time, a lot of money. We need to validate it. All right. So definitely come to the workshop. These are such great, great questions. Tara says, so true. Once I understood how to sell and what work I needed to put in, the sales started. I've been on Etsy for 5 years and sold almost at 2. Oh my gosh, 2 away from your first 1,000. Yay, go Tara. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Elena, you are correct. I may have products that people do not want, but sometimes I wonder, is it the items that they are not interested in, or is my price too high? Ooh, that's a good one. I would love to coach you on that. Inside our program, we do coaching, Inner Circle, Design Excel. We do coaching, and we could coach on this. But what I would do and what I would go to right now for you to consider is two things. One, are other people selling the products you're selling? That's a good place to go. That could help answer a lot. And number 2, is your price too high? As in, could you lower it and still make money? Would you feel comfortable at a lower price? Do you want to put it on sale and just see what happens this week to try to get some traction? Great question. Alicia says, a big thing I run into is people around me selling the trademark stuff, and I refuse to dabble in that market because I don't want to get in trouble. Alicia, I love this comment. So you have, people that are selling things around you with trademark stuff, and you're not willing to do that. Perfect. I love this. They're selling those things. What can you sell? Here's what I'm thinking is happening. You are a crafter, so you're looking at competition and you're telling yourself a story that's just not true. You're saying, oh, they would rather buy from them because they'll do Disney knockoff or sport knockoffs or this or that. Okay. Since we already have decided you're not willing to, go across that line, are you still showing up to the best of your ability for the products you can create, for the items you can sell? All right. I just want to encourage you to still show up at 100% so that you can see it. All right. I love it. I love it. Carol says, just went and had a yard sale, girlfriend of mine. So $50 worth of her stuff. I sold over $9,000 worth of my stuff. Yeah, you can sell anything. Crazy. 9,000. Carol's about to go to the state fair and sell things there too. Go, Carol. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. One Crafty Gal says, I always check if others are selling and how much they are selling for. That will give me an idea of what I should charge. I love that. An idea of what you should charge, which we'll get to. This is super good. I have that one further down. All right. So number 3, you're just pricing based on others. Actually, I had it right here. This is so cool. So we just had One Crafty Gal say, I always check to see what other people are pricing at. It gives me an idea. Notice she didn't say, I look at what everyone else is priced at and I choose the lowest price. Okay? It's very important that we see here that you're not just showing up and choosing the lowest price because you think if you beat the price, you'll get the sale. A lot of times I get quotes back for things, and if it's too low, I'm like, why is this so low? I had a landscaper quote us something that we thought would be quite more expensive, and it came in pretty low. So then I had to start asking questions. I was like, what exactly material are you using? Like I'm trying to figure out like how you're going to do it this cheap. So just know that being the cheapest isn't always the best, because there could be someone doing it cheaper than you, but here's the thing. They're not going to make near as much money per item as you can. So you can work less and make more, right? It's so good. Who doesn't want to work less and make more? Why would you do double the work when you could do half the work and make the same amount of money and not need all those orders and not need to deal with all the customers, right? Like no one would do that if you really had 2 plates out. All right. So just make sure you're not pricing based on others, and make sure that you are paying yourself for your time, you're covering your supplies, and so much more. All right. Love it, love it, love it. Alicia says, that is another thing. I get undercut on my price all the time. I will price and have someone come up after I post and sell cheaper. Alicia, my friend, I don't know if you're new around here. Welcome. I haven't seen your name, I don't think, too much. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited you're here. I really want to challenge you to stop looking at anyone else. I can tell from your comments that a lot of what you're saying here is, oh, I run into people around me selling trademark stuff and that's hurting my sales. Oh, I list something and someone else comes in and lists it cheaper. Alicia, I want you to show up and only worry about you. You're the only vessel and variable we can control. All right. So how can you show up and still sell better at a better price, right? I would even encourage you probably to stop following those pages, stop looking at those sellers, especially in your local market, because I find that it can just be very hard for us to stay focused. And I can say this because I have ran into the same thing. If someone else posts a Cricut hack video and that we've posted this one, and then they see it do well, and then they post their version, right? Like, I just can't follow it. So what I had to ultimately do many years ago was like, I'm just not going to look at any other Cricut YouTube channels videos and just let it be that. Now, if it's a new material or a new machine and I want to learn from it, like, I'll do that. But I just won't look at their average postings and things like that. Oh, I love it. Alicia, I do sell a ton when it comes to spirit wear for the schools. That's so good. That is so, so good. I love it, love it, love it. All right. So number 3, again, you're pricing based on just what other people price at. And I just think that's wrong. You need to make sure that it's worth it for you to make every single item. All right. Number 4. Number 4 is my favorite. And this is really, number 4 is tailored for people that are selling a few things, but they're not really focusing in on what the data says. So secret number 4 is you're not using data. You're just making what you want. And I've thought about this in 2 ways. The first way is people that just make stuff and only sell things that they want to make, and they're not making sure there's demand, which we've covered a little bit. And then the other half is people that are selling their crafts, but they get so many orders and they're not using the data. You're not looking at all your orders and being like, what am I selling the most of? Because chances are you have one product out of 5 that is generating the majority of your sales. Typically how business works. I sell a bunch of products, and the main product I sell is my membership. It makes up for like 80% of my income, right? Is the membership. You may sell t-shirts, tumblers, hats, bandanas, all these different things. And then you're like, wow, my tumblers made me most of my money. So if you're selling all these things, your energy is going all these different ways. What would happen to your income if you focus more on tumblers? Do you see what I'm saying? So use the data to help guide you and what to focus on as you grow. But also, if you're just starting out, use data, use information out there to figure out what you should sell. And that's super fun. We teach that to our clients a lot. And then last but not least, number 5. We're about to go into a live Q&A. Be dropping those comments in the chat box. We will have time to answer them. Number 5. Here is, I'm going to give this to you in 2 different ways. And this is for people that are not selling yet, people that are not, getting out there. Number 5, you're not showing up for yourself, or this is also the same thing, I'm saying in a different way, or you're not taking yourself serious. All right? You're not showing up for yourself, or you're not taking yourself serious. Because that's 2, like, they kind of, for the same reasons, happen. All right? So if you're not taking yourself serious, or you're not, showing up for yourself, I really want to encourage you to decide the way you want to be, the way you want to show up in your business, and really understand why you're running your business so that you can show up for the version of yourself that you want to be, and you can work to become that person. So many of us are like, I really, really, really want to sell my crafts, and what I am doing is just not taking any action though, right? Like, we're not taking ourselves serious. We're not going all in. And that is, my friend, the same thing as just not showing up for yourself. You're showing up for everyone else, but when it comes to you, you're not. Many of my clients I work with and talk to are not taking themselves serious. Can you suggest what other ways to show up? So what does it mean to not show up for yourself? It means, like, you say you want to be a business owner, but you're not showing up to do the work. right? Or you say you're a business owner and you don't take yourself serious. And what that means is you're not doing the work. You're not taking action. You're not building listings. You're getting busy. You don't schedule time out of your calendar to work on your business. Because what I know to be true is to have a business, you're going to have to show up for days, weeks, months, a year possibly before you're making the amount of money you want to make. Like, it's an investment time, it's an investment season, and a lot of people around you would question why you're doing that. I'll never forget building Maker's Gonna Learn. I had to say no to so many things. It felt very uncomfortable. It was very hard. It was very sad that I would missed out on like so many fun things with my friends and family. But why did I do that? Why did I do that? And really, you have two choices. Am I willing to be uncomfortable just for a few months, up to a year and a half, maybe, whichever, to have a huge reward? All my friends that were upset with me for a short term finally understood as my success rose. They were like, oh, of course you did that. And now I feed them great dinners. I take care of them. We have fun together, and I've made up for it. The people I just wasn't able to have extra time hanging out with. It was so worth it. It was so worth it to me to believe in myself over here for that return. I'm still reaping the benefit of that initial investment. But many of us, to get started, we have to do that. And a lot of us just aren't showing up for ourselves to believe in our business enough, in our vision. I hope that makes sense. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So good. So those are the 5 reasons, the 5 problems I see when it comes to people starting to sell their crafts. I'm about to do live Q&A, so drop your questions. If you're picking up when I'm sitting down, if you love all of this, I'm teaching a workshop a week from today. It's not on YouTube. You have to register and get the secret link. Thousands of people have already enrolled. I want to see you there. All right. I want to see you there. So I invite you to click the link right here. I'll drop it real fast. And then we're going to do Q&A. Q&A. Love it. All right. Let's see where we're at. It was a rough vending season, and I unfortunately lost a lot of money. It was such a disappointment and has me down on in-person selling events. Carrie, yeah, I think it's very risky. I will call in-person events risky because it would be very hard to know that your cost to be there and your time to be there would be worth it. That's why I believe in building an Etsy shop or building, direct relationships locally, things like that, because your time working on your shop will always be there. Like, it always is working. So you don't have all your eggs in last weekend's basket. So, and there's so many variables that you can't control. And one thing you need to know about me is I love control. I'm a business owner. That's why I run my own business. I like control. I'm not going to give someone my money and put them in charge of putting together an event that may make me money. I would just spend that money on an event of my own and make sure I crush it, right? Like, it just in-person selling events used to be popular. I get it. And sometimes they can be awesome. So I'm not saying that people aren't successful doing them. I just like to call it risky. I think it's the best way to put it. I like to have my eggs in other baskets personally. So Carrie, I just want to, before I move on, I just don't want you to beat yourself up. I want to just you to understand the money you've lost is the money you've lost. There's no way to getting it back. So you have to decide, how can you show up and how can you make that money back in new ways and start exploring what that looks like. Sometimes I think people that think I'm a robot because there is no action going on. Oh my gosh, no, I don't believe that. Question: how do you handle business when you move? I'm moving to completely new area. Do I look at pricing or do I continue with my pricing in the new area? Alicia, for you in that situation, I think you would just bring your price over. And if it's a price that, say if you're going from Los Angeles to Tennessee, you might want to look at your pricing. Either way you go. So I don't know exactly the area you're moving to. I just teach people how to pick an hourly rate and build their price from that. Super, super helpful. So I would definitely do that. I've only just started selling. Did my first vendor show. Does your membership talk have classes? Talk about how to work a vendor booth, best setup, things like that. So one crafty gal. I am not your like best vendor coach. I can coach you on selling your crafts at the best level, and we do teach on it a little, but I'm not probably the best because I don't believe it's the best use of time personally. And that does not mean you can't make so much money at vendor events. I just like when people's making money while they're with their family without risking the time and the money to be there. Personally, that's just me. So love it. Going to do our first show in 2 weeks, intended to have mostly wood crafts, but CNC is down. Having to pivot. Sublimation last minute. Ooh, honestly, I don't want you to make a bunch of stuff and then may have to bring it home. So maybe bring your printer. Like maybe bring the printer and like designs and like make it interactive. Like we're gonna make these shirts together. Like I think that would be super fun. I think that would be super, super fun. Like how can you make this interactive? Like let's make you a shirt. Here's all the designs I offer. Things like that could be a fun idea. I guess it would depend on, what type of event. Yes, if you're doing a vendor event, do not hide behind your table, be out in front and ready to sell. Yeah, a lot of you, first of all, let's just talk about this. Selling at vendor events is so hard. All right? So hard. Because you have to be a salesperson. Like selling online for me is so much harder than selling online. Like a video is so much easier for me than if I had to go to an event and like talk to people one-on-one. All right. So you have to be really good at sales. The reason people are good at sales is because they're willing to get out there and get uncomfortable and have someone tell them no. It's like those people at the mall, like that we all just try to avoid, but they're like, hey, do you have any back pain? I'm like, no, thank you. Or like, hey, do you want to smell this perfume? What they're doing is they're just putting themselves out there, and some people will take them up on it, and some people won't. But like they do not care either way. Like you have to do that if you want to make the most money and you're not leaving any money on the table. A lot of you sign up for vendor events, go to them, sit there, and just let the money walk right by. And you're okay with it. And if you're okay with it, that's fine. I just think for most of you, building an Etsy shop, building a sustainable online business, things like that would be so much better for you in that regard. Hobby sell, would you start with Facebook? Tammy, if you are just a hobbyist selling your crafts, yeah, I would start putting yourself out there, see what happens, and go from there. It's the easiest way. Is it worth paying for ads to drive sales to your website? Emily, only when you add ads when you have a product that people want and you know they want it. Like if you got in front of 100 people, 10 people would buy it. And that's like pretty top level. Like I didn't run ads for Maker is Gonna Learn for like 2 or 3 years. I made sure to learn how to sell it, know how to talk about it, things like that. What I hate about Facebook Marketplace is people who like my stuff, steal my designs, and get someone else to make it. Joe, that's just a really nice compliment. That's just a really nice compliment, my friend. People go do it all the time. And you just need to get so okay with someone taking your design and like totally fine. They loved your design so much, but they just wanted their shirt person to make it, right? And the reason like people look at me weird when I say stuff like this is because you have two options. When you get out in front of the world and something like this happens, you can be mad and stop putting yourself out there, or two, you can just embrace it and just go on. Just go on. Because what I know to be true is if you're really good, people are going to do that. And the more people you get in front of, the more it could happen. What I want you to think about is like how many like negative comments I get that like I talk too fast, or I talk with my hands, or I have hairy arms. Like if I worried about those people, I would stop posting my videos. But here is what I know, that it doesn't matter. And if I get seen by more and more people, that will happen more and more. So when I see a negative comment, I literally think, oh, that's perfect. Like I'm out in front of so many people that just a few people that shouldn't work with me saw my stuff. Like your thought could be, oh, that's fine. Like I just am that good. Or, oh, of course someone's going to steal my design. It's that good. But your customers go order from you. That's what you need to know. How to prevent others from stealing your crafts. Is there a trademark? Amy, you could spend so much money copywriting designs, doing all the legal stuff, but unless you're selling it like super big scale, it probably wouldn't be worth it. Okay? Just probably wouldn't be worth it in this in the craft world, because if they change it like 10%, and a judge wouldn't be the ultimate person to decide that, you know, it's just a very weird place. So it takes a lot of money to do things like that. It takes a lot of energy. There's so much limited time and energy we have. So we really need to focus on making the most money possible. And it's just overlooking all of that if we're being serious. So good. I love that you guys are getting signed up for the workshop. Yay. Cannot wait to see you guys there. But what you just stated, that's a risk you have to take, thinking what the customer wants, and then you find out they don't want the product. So which part? I always teach on like, of course, making something, but you wouldn't make a ton of it, right? I hope that makes sense. I wasn't sure which part you're talking about. Michelle, you're so sweet. Thank you. I love getting to hang out with you guys. All right. So get signed up for the workshop. I will see you there. It is next Sunday, next Monday, and next Tuesday. The times are listed. There's 3 different times, 3 different days. There will be a 24-hour replay. So pick whichever day you can watch within 24 hours. All right, my friends, thanks so much for being here. What a great group. I am so excited to see you all at the workshop. If you have any questions, drop them down below, and we'll see you back here real soon. Bye, guys.